So fear, what is fear? You don't have to really tell what is fear. You don't have to define fear, because when you become fearful, you know what's fear. Everybody knows what's hunger. Everybody knows what's pornography. And a judge in America, after public litigations by parents that pornography is spoiling the children, he passed a statement, you know pornography when you see it. So we all are fearful, by the way. Everybody is in fear. There's a saint, 𝗙liche𝗶𝗹, and if you go to Ujjain in India, there's a little place, Ujjain, it's a famous place. There's a place where he was a king and he left everything and he became a saint. And he wrote a book, and in that book he said everybody is fearful. His analysis is there. The root cause of all actions in this world is fear. So how he said in his book, well, children have fear of losing their toys. When you become young, you are fearful that whether you will become settled in life or not, you have career, you will be married to a good girl, or married life, you will be settled or not. Those fears are there. When you become old, you have fear of health and death, by the way. And a beautiful girl, beautiful women and beautiful girls, they are very fearful of losing their beauty. Girls who are not beautiful, they are very fearful to be sarcastically taunted by those who are beautiful. So poor people, they are fearful of being exploited by the rich. Rich are fearful to lose their money. Intelligent people, they are fearful of debates. Somebody else will come and debate and defeat them. Foolish people, they are fearful because they think intelligent people will use them, manipulate them. So a poor person is fearful, of course, and a king is fearful at the same time, that the public will revolt. So everybody is fearful for some reason or the other. 𝗙liche𝗶𝗹 says there's just one person who is not fearful in this world, a person who understands God and himself. So fear, but the question is why we are fearful, why there is so much fear in us. That's the question. The answer is, okay, if you want to get rid of fear, connect with God. That's a traditional answer. If you go to any religious person, he says, yes, if you want to become fearless, connect with God. And that makes sense because the religious person, he'll say, if you connect with God, you feel protected, God takes care of you, you feel secure, and then you don't have any fear. Okay, it makes sense. Although you might not believe that there is God exists or not, that's the other issue. But there are solutions which religious people offer. And to get rid of fear, you can also go to a psychiatrist and take some medicines, and that can do some patch-up work there for you. You can take some lithium or something, and fear psychosis, people have fear psychosis, and it can help you. But the question here is why we are fearful. Why everybody is fearful? Fearful of what? Fearful of the future. That's the whole idea. If you analyze all the examples which I have given, there is a fear what will happen in the future. That summarizes all the examples in one sentence. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Na shochati na kankshati. People are fearful what will happen in the future. People are sad what happened in the past. So fear comes when we think of uncertainty of future. That creates fear in us. And that's the root cause of fear, which Bhagavad Gita says. But that's actually not the root cause. If you go a little deeper, everybody thinks about future. It's not that saints do not think about future. They think everybody has to think about future, isn't it? If you want to live in this material world, you have to think about future. You have to plan about future. You can't lead an unplanned life. And for planning, you have to think of future, isn't it? So, is there a way that we can think of future and yet not be fearful? And for that you have to understand from where fear is coming. So the cause of fear is not thinking of future. The cause of fear is uncertainty in future. We think of future. So what will happen, what will not happen? And why that is happening is, that is happening because we are disconnected with God. Because we try to decide our life by our own parameters. We become the decision maker. And that's why there's uncertainty. Why? Because if we become the decision maker, we are not omniscient. We don't know what's going to happen. And naturally you'll be fearful. But if you make God as your decision maker, and that's a trick of religion, by the way, if you want to call it as a trick, but that's a teaching of religion. If you make God as your religion maker, if you make God as your decision maker, that okay, I will lead my life, but let me leave all the decisions to God. Let me serve Him and leave my decisions to God. Whatever He decides, I accept it. With that mentality, if we lead our life, we can think of future, but will not be fearful. There will be no uncertainty because God is omniscient. God knows everything. And whatever He decides for us, He will decide the perfect solution, isn't it? Because He knows past, present, future, everything. So when God decides, there is no uncertainty. When we decide, there is uncertainty. So the root cause of fear is that we are disconnected with God. And because of that, we get uncertainty in future. And because of that uncertainty, we get fear. And that's why Krishna says in m𝗲𝗱𝗶, 𝗙𝗵𝗋 na shochati na kankshati. This is 18th chapter, 54th verse. And Krishna says, well, 𝗵𝗵𝗋 na shochati na kankshati. Simple. He says, if you're connected with God, then there is no fear. So that's the solution for fear, and that's the root cause of fear. That's why we are all fearful. That is why without God and without religion, nobody can be fearless. I don't want to use the word religion because religion has become a taboo. Religion has become a denomination, but I'm using the word religion in its true sense, where you understand God, whether you are Muslim, Christian, Hindu, it doesn't matter, where you want to develop a connection with Him and love Him. And that if you can do, and that if you can be trained by scriptures and by devotees, then actually that's the real way to become fearless.